right, my friends, welcome to episode 421 of Prof and Dev Play Games. I am Larry. I am a professor. I play video games. And over there's Anthony. He is a developer. He plays video games, a lot of video games, deep into the night. And he also makes video games. How's it going?
It's going okay. It's been a pretty uneventful weekend. So that's good. I'm going to my first Kraken hockey game tomorrow night. That should be fun.
Is that in Seattle?
Yeah. It's our team. It's our NHL team. My mom, through her work, just had an extra ticket. She's like, if you want to come, it's club level even.
Oh, so, hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, let's see this hockey thing. It's been a long time since I've gone to a hockey game.
Hockey's fun. Every time we catch it on TV, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. I like this sport. It is quite interesting.
Yeah, so that should be a good time. So that's my new excitement for tomorrow night. But the weekend's hasn't been full of a lot. A lot of me playing games more than anything.
Nice. So this was a sporty weekend for my daughter. She started softball, and then we did soccer today, and then we did a lot of cleaning around the house and stuff today, and then played some video games, which was a lot of fun. So yeah, it's been a good low-key weekend. Picked up a couple of games on Fantasy Critic, following the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase, which we will talk about today. There's the leaks coming out of, I forget where, South America somewhere, some outlet that kind of has a few leaks that have been right lately. Talked about a Partner Direct this month, proper Nintendo Direct in April, and then June with a Switch release. Oh, not Switch release, Jesus. Switch reveal. Switch 2. I'm curious if it'll follow that cadence, but that sounds about right, to be honest.
Yeah, especially with the rumors being that the Switch 2 is likely not this year.
Yeah.
It would be if it was this year, I would expect that it's announced, honestly, next month.
Next month.
Exactly. But if they're going to hold it until, or need to hold it until the first quarter, 2025 they're right near the end of the fiscal year there, that they would hold off announcing. They don't want to announce too soon.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was thinking about today. I was just like, Nintendo has said nothing, even that there is a Switch 2. So everything has been unofficial. But I'm just hoping that they do delay, because I'm not ready for the Switch generation to be over, because that means I'm getting older.
True.
It's been with me since before my daughter was born. And now
that is correct.
And moving on to the next generation is like, oh God, we're older now, which is going to happen no matter what. But man, for some reason, it's just pinging in my head as like a milestone that I'm not ready for.
I mean, yes. When was it? March 2017? Yeah. It was when Switch came out. Yeah. So we'll be, if things go correctly on the rumors, it's likely that time, 2025. So it'll be an 8-year cycle. Yeah. So yes, 8 years will have passed. 8 years since I went down and visited you when this console came out.
God damn, man.
We just sat there and played.
Oh man,
Breath of the Wild.
What a great weekend that was. I enjoyed that so much. I was very, very entertained. That was great. I remember getting stuck in the Yiga clan hideout with the bananas or whatever over and over and over again, and then you finally got there and just like got through your first try. It's like, God damn, I suck at video games.
I'm sure we'll talk about that a little later here.
Oh my God,
yes. Playing.
Yeah, man. Oh, such good stuff. But yeah, let's get to this Partner Direct. It happened. I think the Microsoft thing delayed things a little bit because we launched the Direct with Grounded coming to Switch.
Yeah, I did not expect Grounded on Switch, I'll be honest.
Yeah, you had said that last podcast. You're like, I don't think it'll run.
Sea of Thieves was the one I was like, that won't be on Switch. But Grounded was always questionable to me. But I guess it's stylized enough and they can optimize it well enough to work, because, I mean, they led with it. And yeah, Microsoft stuff now on Switch. It's happening.
It's funny though, because like Ori came, I guess they don't consider that first party, I suppose.
It's not first party.
It's Moon Studios, yeah, but it felt like an Xbox exclusive. But same thing with that fucking hard platformer shooty thing. Cuphead. That
Sure.
also came to Switch, but that's also not a first party thing. So.
Not first party. It was probably timed exclusivity, contractually. Yeah. But yeah, Grounded seemed fine. It's now, I mean, some of the air was let out of those sails because of Microsoft having to get out in front of this. It's not like, oh, we didn't expect it. It's like, yep, okay, we knew this was happening. Here it is. Yeah, not a huge lot for me to say on that. Grounded's great. My son liked it. He played through all of it.
Yeah, the more that I've looked, I never really looked at it in terms of like, let's play this game. But with this with this launch on Switch, I took another look at it and I thought, my daughter might enjoy this. I don't know if we will check it out, but
sure.
I started to look at it again because I really haven't looked at it much. So yeah, Microsoft. I know that Sea of Thieves is not on here, but as soon as the announcement for Sea of Thieves coming to PlayStation 5, our friend Kartik put in the Discord that he wants to play with all of us and get drunk and play this game. And I was like, it worked. That's what Phil Spencer wanted.
Yep. And that would be great for it overall. I think just as a player-based thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's perfect. Next, we had Ender Magnolia, which is the sequel to Ender Lilies.
Ender Lilies, yep.
Which, honestly, I haven't ever looked too much at these games. Ender Lilies, at least. This looked pretty cool, though.
It did. I've looked quite a bit at Ender Lilies and have almost picked it up a few times. It's a hard as fuck Metroidvania, basically, with kind of like a hand-drawn style. Kind of like a dark, like, I don't know, gothic-ish or something. Not gothic, but like it feels dark to me. But people keep recommending it in the pantheon of great indie Metroidvanias. But apparently it's really hard. So I'm curious about Ender Magnolia.
Yeah.
I actually dabbled. I almost picked it up on Fantasy Critic, and I was like,
I looked at. I wasn't there whenever I was putting my bids in.
Oh, really? Because Ender Lilies came to Open Critic and it hit like 85, maybe, which is pretty decent.
I looked for Ender Magnolia and just wasn't there. But when I was looking at Fantasy Critic, a lot of the stuff hadn't actually shown up there yet.
Interesting. Okay, because I thought I saw it when I was trying to make my bids.
But I don't know if I was making my bids like Wednesday.
Oh, okay. I made my bids Saturday morning because I was like, "Oh fuck, I haven't made." And
actually,
bids.
I tried again on Thursday, and there's still some stuff wasn't there. So
yeah, because Ender Magnolia is there now, but it's also I mean, it's a release date of 2024, but who the fuck knows?
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
So
it looked cool. And then we got a Ranger, which I was like, it's Chuzzle, the role playing game.
Chuzzle was a PopCap game, right?
Yeah, we published it. It was by I can't remember his name. But I mean, we did a lot with it and owned the IP, and it was a match 3 where you slide rows and columns.
Interesting. There's Chuzzle Deluxe on Steam. Okay.
Chuzzle's awesome.
Oh, I played that game. Oh yeah, dude.
And they all explode. You put them at 3 and they explode. Mm-hmm. It's very classic PopCap. It was John Raptus. Raptusoft made it. Who we published a number of games by Raptus. He never wanted to actually come and work for us, but we were like, we'll pay you and publish your games. So
and he's like, sure, okay, great.
Yeah, I get to be a single person dev and just do the thing. But that was the first thing I saw this. I was like, oh, this is it's the Chuzzle mechanic, but it's the whole world while you do it.
Yeah, every time you take a step, it moves the whole thing.
Yeah, it's very interesting to me, and I'm definitely interested in checking this out. Eventually, I don't know if this one was dated, or if it just was 2024 as well. A lot of things in here were just like this year. It's like, okay,
yes, exactly. Which made it a little scary to pick up on Fantasy Critic.
A Ranger. Oh, I just put it in. A Ranger's also coming to PS5.
Okay. Oh yeah. Well, that's funny here. Nintendo Life, the fucking trailer here is for PlayStation.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. Summer supposedly. So
right.
Yeah, it looked really cool. Neat concept.
Yeah, I think it could be a really neat puzzle game. I like a role puzzling adventure. Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah,
role playing puzzle game.
Yeah.
Speaking of role playing games, the next one, Unicorn Overlord, which rivals Triangle Strategy as probably a terrible name. However, this one sticks with being really unique, anyways. Launched a demo. This game's coming out March 8th, so real soon. And I downloaded the demo, and I know we both played it, so maybe we'll kind of detour here quickly to talk about what we played. But the demo's out for people if they want to check it out. But man, this game, it's been on my radar. I picked up for Fantasy Critic, but I didn't know if it was going to be a me game. But I played the demo. It's a me game. I am really interested in this game.
Yeah, I was curious if you would play it and what you'd think of it, because it's a hard one to pin down. Like what it is. The description I've used and have seen used is like, okay, it's parts Fire Emblem, parts Ogre Battle, and parts like Final Fantasy 12. The Gambits
with the job system. The Gambits,
the Gambits and the like tactics. But that isn't exactly right either. Like it has elements of those games, but then also was its own thing, very much. And so it's weird to play a game, and I played this demo. I went to the time limit. I think it's 5 hours you can play the demo.
Oh, wow.
Progress carries over. So, but you can do a lot in this demo in 5 hours. And, well, I should say, it feels like you're doing a lot, but when it's actually like how much you've done in the whole game, I think it's less than 10% of the game. Quite a bit less. So, huge game. But going in, playing it, I was just... This is Vanillaware doing Vanillaware thing of being like, they have a vision for what they're making and what they want to make. Like, you don't play their games and be like, oh, this is generic. It's this thing or that thing. And like I said, you can equate elements to other games, but it's not those other games. They have identity when you talk about it. The name is weird. The thing is, Triangle Strategy is an incredibly generic name. Unicorn Overlord is not a generic name. It's weird.
It is not.
You don't. If you just saw the name, you're like, what the hell does that even mean? Why?
Yep.
But
it's memorable.
It's distinct.
Yeah, exactly.
And it has context in the game whenever you play it. But yeah, I didn't know what I was getting into going into this one. I just knew I'm like, Vanillaware, I'm going to give it a shot. And I just kind of devoured this thing. I had so much fun with it. And it's, like I said, I didn't know if with you how much you would like it or not, because it has the Fire Emblem elements, but I'm like, this can get real complicated. Like, deeply complicated.
I took several screenshots to kind of remember the writing, which I'll talk about. I have a screenshot here of like the unit details where you can have the loadout, the skills, the details, the stats, and like it is super crunchy. Yeah. And there's a lot of fucking information here where I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't know what this is. You know? I'm like, I know I can like make gambits like Final Fantasy 12 where you can do the if-then statements. I didn't figure out how to do that yet.
If-then statements with 2 if conditions.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, that's each one can have up to 2 conditions where the ability will trigger. You can set that stuff.
So I wonder if I didn't get to the part where I could set that yet.
You could. Like it was set you can probably go in there and start doing it if you want. They'll eventually...
Is it under skills or?
It's under unit. You go into the units. It's like... when I was in there, you went over... It was effectively under their equipment and stats. There was an area that showed what skills they had.
Mm-hmm.
And it had like numbers next to the skills, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay.
And you could go, it's like whenever you were messing with your equipment, you could actually just go down and scroll and select the skill and start editing they call them tactics. You could edit the tactics.
And I assume you could also in the unit loadout or where you have like a small diorama of like 6 squares and you have several people in that unit or whatever, you can like rearrange them, I assume.
Yep.
Yeah. So I didn't move around. I figure there's a lot of crunchiness to it.
Yeah.
But the thing that stood to me, obviously, was Fire Emblem. Like there's the rapport system, where you can build relationships, I assume, between the characters.
Yes, you can.
I felt like the writing was good, and then there was like a small layer of like we're trying to be, I don't know, regal or fucking some sort of period writing. Like I have this thing from Elenia when she was sending Joseph off with the king. Take him, Joseph. Raise that delicate seedling into a sturdy tree capable of weathering the harsh climes that await.
Yes.
And it's like, it's good writing, but it just has like a really like self-aware layer of like, we're gonna make it a little stilted but still good. And I was really impressed with the character.
Like everything in the game. Like exactly. They're just like, no, we're not doing a one-to-one. There's gonna be little phrases here and there that aren't heightened English, I should say, in some ways, theatrical. Yeah, I don't know. I've noticed that too a couple times in the game. Not constant. It's just thrown out every once in a while, and you're like, "Yep, okay, I get it."
It's a nice spice to the writing. I was impressed. I was immediately impressed with the writing and the characterization. It felt like, it kind of felt like a story that I've seen before, but just twisted a little bit to make it interesting. Like it's not doing too much so far. I'm sure it does later. Like even like the unicorn ring you get, which just cleanses like the evil that has taken over their minds or whatever. It's all interesting. And I was like, I've been looking at this game for a while and playing the demo, even just for an hour. I was like, yeah, I want this collector's edition. That's why I bought it because I don't want it to be, I have a feeling just playing for an hour, how I felt after I played Awakening, where I was like, what the fuck is this series? What is it? This is a new genre and everything that I never knew I liked. And I wish I would have got that collector's edition of Awakening then. So I just grabbed this because I think I'm going to love this.
You get a card game.
Yeah, there's a card game in it.
A full card game. I mean, that's the main reason I got the collector's edition. I'm like, I want, you're not giving me a statue or something else. You're actually giving me like a physical, like, I don't even know if it's like 2 to 4 player card game. But I'm like, sure, I'm here for that. That like this is a collector's edition directly pointed at me. Yeah, I'm real excited. I played through, like I said, like 5 hours, but I did numerous battles. Explored the overworld a ton, finding lots of secret stuff. God, I was so close. I finally had my 30 divine shards. I was going to go recruit the angel. It's going to be so good. Yes, because there's angels in the game you'll come across.
I'm very interested in that.
There's a whole church system and religion, but there's actual angels. And they're really cool looking. Tons of classes. I think they said over 60 unique characters themselves, like actual like named characters and voiced
that you can play.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Like 60 uniques for all the different class types. And then you can recruit. You can just like, I want another thief. You can get another thief. You can go and recruit mercenaries to get more characters of specific classes. But the scale of this is insane, and the art is very beautiful. Like
it looks really.
This is vanilla. What Vanillaware does, and this is their art style. You look at and you're like, "Yep, I know this company. This is what they do."
Seems like they have very different genres, like Grimoire. There was Odin Sphere, obviously 13 Sentinels, and now this. Yep. They all seem very different.
And they had Dragon's Crown and Muramasa, the Demon Blade, which was kind of Dragon's Crown. Its art is ridiculous. I say that in the best way. Character art. But it was effectively Golden Axe.
Oh.
It was their take on like a modern day Golden Axe. You look at the games they do and they move through genres. This is a pretty big switch from 13 Sentinels to this. Very different games, although it sounds like 13 Sentinels and this were in development at the same time, because there was an interview that said Unicorn Overlord's been in development for like 10 years. They started
10 years?
They started concepts in 2014. Small team, small group working, and what I would expect then is that that's probably when 13 Sentinels was kicking off, and they had 2 teams, and they put a lot of people on 13 Sentinels to get it out, and had a small team on this, and then 13 Sentinels released, and that team moved over to Unicorn Overlord to finish it out. But it's a huge game. It doesn't surprise me that they spent a lot of time working on it.
It feels, I mean, obviously, like, I think the story, the world, like, there's like 5 or 6 kingdoms, like, it's huge. But again, just that one screen, there's like so much dense detail in that screen that you can fucking fuck with.
I think the way I would explain it, like, from a tactical standpoint, and like the certain level of depth and options. So you have that grid arrangement that you can do. It's 3 rows, 2 columns, or however you want to, 2 by 3.
2 by 3, yeah.
And you want to put a tank in the front row. But you're like, oh, what are tanks? Well, there's actually 4 different types of tanks in the game.
Oh, wow.
There's Elaine, who you start with, which is your typical, like, kind of like an armored guardian kind of tank, has a shield, but kind of like a light shield. It kind of can deal a bit more damage, and that's great. You have evasion tanks, which are thieves in this game. The thief is a front row character that just evades attacks and has an ability to auto evade attacks. So enemy units have to attack the front row, they'll just keep evading. So it's a pure evasion tank. Then you have another character you get has like a big, like, great shield, and is very good at, like, similar to Elaine, but the main character, but is much more tuned for defending against bow attacks and ranged attacks, and protecting things in the behind you with their big shield and, like, shielding them from range. And then I just towards the end, I got the HP tank, has low defense, magic and basic defense, but just has like 2.5 times the HP as other characters.
Oh, damn.
It just stands in the front and just takes damage. But if you have a cleric, which I now had behind them, the cleric can just heal them up. So to show a certain level of complexity in the game is like, oh yeah, there's not one tank. There are 4 different types of tank classes in the game, and there could be more that I'm not even at yet.
Right.
And they all function differently and do different things. And you want to pair them against different enemy units that you fight and arrangements, and you want to put different support and damage characters in their formations. It's a crazy game in its depth, and towards the end I was actually starting to do a lot of formation planning and, like, swapping things out and trying to make more efficient formations. Started feeling really good. Again, a lot like the Final Fantasy 12 thing, when you have the tactics and the gambits in there and tactics here, that you feel like you've done a well-oiled machine, and you're just like, wow, this is working real well. Then the game will throw something at you that it doesn't work that well against, and you got to figure it out again. But I really, in the 5 hours, I was super impressed with the depth in this game, and it is real crunchy. But I think you could probably play it without getting that crunchy. And there's some options to auto, like, optimize your units, and I think that would do decently well enough.
I feel like that was kind of the linchpin for me in just playing through for the hour and realizing that I think there's a level where you could play this. I mean, I think, obviously there's tactical, story, and expert modes or whatever. So I could take it down if I want to, but I think you can engage in this story. It felt like you could engage in the game without engaging all of the systems. So that felt good. To kind of play through, and that's kind of sealed the deal for me that I'm going to be able to enjoy this, even if I don't get into the level of crunchiness that I know that you are going to.
Yes.
Yeah. I was looking at it, I was like, Anthony's going to love this. Me, not so much.
Yeah. So, I mean, I finished that demo, and the progress completely carries over. I'll load this save into the release game, so I can just continue from where I'm at. But I have to wait not that long, 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's the
roughly.
8th. So it's not too long at all. Yeah.
Theoretically, Amazon says I won't be getting my copy until the following Monday, but their shipping is always kind of crazy. Their estimates to getting stuff to me has become very erratic, even though things tend to still arrive very quickly. They just don't want to give the quick date, just because of where I live now. They're like, yeah, we're not going to guarantee it, but we'll see what happens. But I am at least guaranteed a collector's edition, and it's not like I won't have other things to play before this game shows up.
Well, I was going to ask because you are, I thought, playing Rebirth.
Oh, totally.
So that you'll still be playing that, I assume. By the time
maybe we'll see. We'll see how long.
Yeah.
I assume Rebirth can. I know can be like fast or it can be long. Depends on.
Yeah.
And by fast, like 40 hours. Long is 80.
Right. Depends how much Queen's Blood you play.
Yeah. We'll see. But back to this. The direct. Then they showed some. I'll say the next 1, 2, 3, 4 were kind of all either remaster remakes or expanded editions.
Yep.
So we got Monster Hunter Stories, which I think was a 3DS game.
It was 3DS. Yeah, I played the demo on 3DS,
which totally makes sense. Monster Hunter Stories 2 was on Switch. Like now they're both going to be on Switch. Cool.
Yep.
Do you want Monster Hunter the RPG? Turn-based RPG, because that's what these games are.
And little chibi,
very cute.
Yeah, it is cute.
And then we got Epic Mickey rebrushed. I have no opinions on Epic Mickey. I never played it. I never cared to play it.
I have opinions.
Okay.
Of all the games at the Direct, I'm actually the most excited about this one.
Okay.
Which is only based on two things. One, when Karen and I went and met with a friend of hers, he had a Wii with this game. That was back before I was playing video games again, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And he was like, "Yeah, I've been playing this game, and I can't get past this area." It was like early in the game, and I was like, "Oh, let me try," and just fucking blew right through it and kept going. And he was like, "Holy shit!" I was like, "Oh yeah, I know how to play video games." But that was all I played of it, and I probably played for like an hour there while we were just hanging out. And I may have been a little high when that was happening as well, which maybe have added to the enjoyment at that point. But I've always wanted to play it, but I just don't. I never tracked down a copy for my Wii U, and I was hoping they would remaster it eventually. And then this year, for Christmas, my wife got me the Jason Schreier's new book. And the first chapter was about Warren Spector and working on this game. And I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot about this game. I really want to play that game. And that was like 2 weeks ago. And then this showed up. I was like, all right. I don't know if I trust the company who's working on it, it's THQ Nordic. Sure. But man, if they made a good one of this, I will watching for reviews. And if they're good, I'm going to pick this up. I think my daughter would love to play along with this game.
I could see that.
So that's
then they had the expanded version of Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, which there was a deeper preview that went out on Atlas's YouTube channel.
Okay.
That really went into it. It effectively doubles the size of the game. Length
doubles it? Jesus.
Yeah. You have two like when you start, there's 2 scenarios you can go through now. 2 paths. And you pick it from the start, and each path is about 80 hours. So,
wow, it's like Persona 5 Royal, but
yeah,
like
pretty much.
uncracked.
Yeah, no, it's even more than that.
Yeah,
I had to look because I haven't played many SMT games ever, but 4 had something like this where there was Shin Megami Tensei 4, and then there was SMT 4 Apocalypse, and they were like. Apocalypse was a second released game, but it was an alternate telling of SMT4. They're just putting the whole thing into one game this time. Where on those were on the 3DS, and you just chose the cart you're gonna play. So yeah, this is gonna be quite a big thing, and this is when it's coming to every other platform too. Vengeance is gonna be on, I think. It's been announced for every other platform at this point.
Yeah. Atlas
I'll probably pick it up and try it.
busy. You didn't play SMT5.
No, I have it. I never touched it.
Oh, shit.
And now they're doing this. I'm like, I guess I'll just wait for this.
Wasn't it like on sale on Best Buy?
Yeah, it was like super sale. I got like a steel book that looked really cool. Like I got it real cheap, less than $20. So
yeah,
I'm not worried about getting it again and trying it with the better QOL. And then they announced Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection.
I saw people losing their fucking mind over this.
People love the original Battlefronts 1 and 2.
I guess. Wow.
Not me. I'm like, sure, I like Star Wars, but I've never got into the Battlefront games too much. But I mean, I kind of feel crazy that this is even existing, but I think it's coming to more than just Switch. I think it's coming to a lot of things.
Oh yeah, it's on Steam. There's a
yeah. People just want to play this game and make it easy to play again, and they're gonna get to. So cool, thumbs up.
Aspire's working on it. And they're the ones that just did the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, they're a studio that's kind of known for doing remasters overall. They do a fair amount of them.
Fairly well.
Yeah, so
cool.
They'll be competent. I assume will be pretty competent. It has good bones to work from. So
yes, right.
So for you, any of the next chunk look interesting to you?
No, we've got South Park Snow Day. We've got Sword Art Online, Fractured Daydream, got Gundam Breaker 4. Those three don't stand out to me as anything I'm interested in. But how about you?
No, not really.
Okay. Super Monkey Ball, however, does stand out to me. And I've never played Super Monkey Ball. However, I just spent a long time playing with my family Marble It Up Ultra on Steam, which is Marble. I assumed it was like Marble Madness. Now that I'm looking at this, I'm like, oh, was it like Monkey Ball? Because it looks a lot like this. You're in the ball, kind of dashing around. Is this what Monkey Ball has always been?
Yeah.
Oh, because this looks like, after playing Marbled Up Ultra, this has good reviews. I'm going to pick it up because we had a fucking great time playing Marbled Up Ultra. Just little puzzle, puzzle dioramas where you're rolling the ball through, trying to get the ball from one end to the other with a bunch of fucking obstacles in the middle and power-ups and shit. It was a lot of fun. Something that I just, just a pure fun game. I picked up on a Steam sale for super cheap. And then this has like a 20-player like multiplayer. It's almost like Fall Guys a little bit. I don't know. But this looks really up my alley. So it looks fun.
I mean, that's Monkey Ball games, so
that's great. I heard that previous Monkey Ball had Kiryu and Sonic that you could also have in a little ball rolling around.
Sure, why not?
If you get a Kiryu, that sounds great. Please do. I would love that. So that one looks good. And then obviously World of Goo 2 is insane because World of Goo came out in 2008, I think.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I want to say it's just a cash grab, but it's a good cash grab.
Oh, really? For that long? You think it's a cash grab?
No, just being like, we should make some more money. Let's make World of Goo 2.
Yeah, just like you're leaving on the table. Why don't we? Well, let's make a sequel.
Yeah, I don't actually think that's true. I do think the creator just probably was like, I don't want to do other things right now. 2D boy.
Yeah, because I think of a cash grab, something that's like not nearly as good. We haven't played this game yet, obviously, but like something that's just like cashing in on the name, but like there's not really any effort put into it. But this looks.
I don't mean a cash grab in that way. I mean in a way of being like, let's we feel like we have something to say here, and we'll make some more money again.
Yeah, sure. It looks good. It looks good. I remember playing World of Goo a long time ago.
The original one was built on the PopCap Games framework.
Really?
Yeah, we put out a framework or 2D engine.
Interesting.
And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. They used our framework, and then they jammed in a physics plug into it, and so it uses like I think it was I want to say it was Box 2D, but it could be something else. people who've done development long ago might know of those things. But I know they used Open Dynamics Engine.
For
Physics
2?
Engine.
Or?
Yeah, no, for 1.
Oh, 1.
Which was written in C++, and it was just an open source physics engine that they crammed in to the PopCap 2D framework. So there you go.
That's pretty cool. Do you know what they're using for this one at all?
Not a clue. I mean, theoretically, they could still use that in the end. Like,
can you export something from that old of an engine onto a Switch? That came out
you could make. I mean, the thing is, it's full on. It was such a lightweight little framework. You could easily. It wouldn't be hard to make that ports, and they ported World of Goo to everything.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm sure that all that stuff is already known.
I wonder if World of Goo. I have my Switch here. I wonder if World of Goo is on Switch. Let's see here.
It says it was on the Wii.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's Nintendo Switch, supposedly.
There it is. World of Goo. They also did Little Inferno and Human Resource Machine, and those are all on here too. I remember playing Little Inferno as well. That was Tomorrow Corporation, which had 2D Boy and Tomorrow Corporation are doing World of Goo 2 in some way, but so I'm not sure how they're related, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't remember either. But they are. That's crazy. Yeah, World of Goo 2.
Oh yeah, because World of Goo here says Tomorrow Corporation too. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Must just be the publisher ARM. Anyway, so that was cool. The next one was a sequel to a 3DS game that people seem to love, which is Fantasy Life.
Yeah.
This is Fantasy Life I, for some reason. The Girl Who Steals Time, I think, is the subtitle.
Yep.
Yeah. Level 5 games.
Yeah, it's been a while since seeing a level 5 game.
Yeah, I was about to say that, yeah.
And it's supposedly coming later this year.
Looks like an Animal Crossing, but then
it's a very casual RPG kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The description they even have on the official site: a social slow life RPG. Housing, town planning, island restoration, and adventure features. So it's like an Animal Crossing, but with a bit more mechanical depth, because it has like adventuring and combat type stuff.
Right.
But I mean that's it, and this might be pretty successful right now. There's a lot of people that like Animal Crossing, so there's probably a nice bridge to having something a little bit more complicated than Animal Crossing.
Right. It's interesting that they've slotted it into October, because in a world where the Switch 2 is coming out in the fall, I don't know how well that would do, but that's not happening perhaps. So maybe it's a great time. Like, it just seems like that's the glut of like huge games coming out. Yeah. But
I mean, I still hold that the Switch 2 is probably going to be completely backwards compatible with all of this. So
then it wouldn't matter at all then.
Yeah, I think it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think I think you'll be able to play any of these games on the Switch 2 is my thought. I don't think Nintendo's going to break that. But that a game you picked up for your Fantasy Critic, another Crab's Treasure. Which is like a silly Souls-like game.
Yes, exactly. I think that's what's so endearing to me is like it's got Souls-like combat, but it just seems silly as fuck.
Yeah.
You're a crab, and you're picking up 60 different kinds of shells to go in your body, and they each have different abilities to defend yourself, improve your combat prowess. It just looks bright, colorful. So when I hear Souls-like, it just doesn't compute.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in that, because the Souls combat's fun, but like put it in like a less dark world. Picking up, a coffee cup put on your back, got a fork in your hand as a crab. I like crabs anyways. I'm a big fan of crabs.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I'm interested. I could be burned on this one, but we'll see.
Yeah, and it's made by a company called Aggro Crab. And they are actually like blocks away from system error.
Oh, really? You're that close?
Yeah, we're super close. I've never been to their studio, but they reported that think they had like a break-in a while ago. Nothing major was stolen, but we sent them a care package, walked over and took it to them.
Oh, nice.
So it's just funny. I'm like, oh yeah. Oh, actually, I'm at their website, and one of their pictures, I'm like, no. That picture is literally across the street from the building that System Error is in.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, they're real close. Small team. I hope it does well. Hope.
Yeah, some people have been excited about it, so it's enough for me to, based on what I've seen and the people who are excited about it, I like the idea of having a Souls-like with humor.
Yeah.
And the style of it looks cool. I hope it plays on the Steam Deck. That would be nice.
Yeah. They do have a Steam page up, so I guess it's coming to a lot of things.
Are you on their Steam page, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, on the right side where it says the awards, South by Southwest Sydney Games Festival Best Crab, and then it has Day of the Devs, and then it has Aggro Crab Seal of Quality, and then it has whatever the fuck that X-ray is. Look at the last one.
Video game star. That's awesome.
PNG or whatever, fucking yellow star that someone wrote video game on it.
It's a gold star. It's just the image is gold star. Goldstar.png. That's really funny.
And then it just has like the X for closing it and the fucking different buttons from Microsoft Paint or whatever.
I'm like, are they just screwing around to see what Valve will let them put in there? Because that's what it feels like. Yeah.
Oh my god,
that looks pretty cool.
Have a fucking handgun as a shell. Oh my god.
It's so weird. Okay. It's so silly.
This is too fucking cool. Okay, yeah. So I picked that up. Hopefully we'll see how it goes. And then the big one of the direct in terms of like what the fuck was Penny's Big Breakaway got a shadow drop for that day, which is exciting, but also makes me wonder, were they trying to avoid reviews or whatever. Sometimes I think that with shadow drops. So we'll see. I picked this up for my fantasy deck before, so we'll see what the reviews come out. But I just think it's by the Sonic Mania team, and T. Lopes is doing the music, who did the music for Mania, and also Shredder's Revenge. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It looks interesting enough. I wonder how it plays.
Fine is what GameSpot was saying. Nothing great, but fine. Buggy so far on different platforms. I've seen online. But yeah, you said there's not a whole lot of info out about it right now. I think it's shadow dropped on. Yeah, it's dropped on Steam as well. It's mostly positive. 78% on Steam.
Not bad. So, yeah, that's kind of where I feel like it's going to land. In the 70s somewhere.
Yeah, it's definitely. It was very surprising to see that it was shadow dropped. And it didn't really have much of a big marketing build up. It was just like, nope, here it is now.
Yep, exactly.
They are published by Private Division though, so who knows?
Yep.
There's that. Suika Game multiplayer, because everyone loves Suika Game.
I was ready to come on this podcast complaining because when I went to get this that night, I didn't see it was available except for buying it bundled with the original game, which I already have. So I just wanted the multiplayer expansion. But then when I went online tonight, right as we started the podcast, and it was there separate. Available. So now I'm happy. It was $255 for the multiplayer expansion. I love this game. I don't know if I've told you about my journey with this game.
No.
Do you know about Tetris and Trauma?
Yes. That's been described to me before.
Okay. So I've been going through some shit, as you know. And immediately after like the worst day of it, I was home, just took the day off of work, and I was playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. And my wife was like, "You need to play Suika Game because of the Tetris and Trauma." Like the connection for folks who don't know, the connection between folks who have experienced traumatic events and then playing Tetris specifically, but puzzle games in general, it's very therapeutic. And I was like, okay, yeah. And I went and took a nap instead. And then my wife left for a couple hours, and she suggested I play Suika game again. I was like, fine, I'll try it for 5 minutes and see how it feels. I played for fucking 2 hours straight, and when I was done, I felt like $1,000,000. And then last week again after therapy, I came out and played Suika game for another hour and a half, and it's like such a really nice antidote for some of what I've been feeling. And it really, for me, validated that whole study about Tetris and trauma. So really, like, Suika game has done something for me that most games have never done. But beyond that, my daughter loves it, my wife loves it, I love it, and now that there's multiplayer mode, we get to play against each other. That's fucking great. So I'm very, very excited. But man, I know you played this last year, but I never got a chance to play it, and this year has been like,
yeah.
It was a thing before the trauma thing, and now it's a thing afterwards, and it's fucking great.
Yeah, it's so simple. It's just it's nice to see good puzzle games show up.
Yeah,
Simple, straightforward puzzle games.
Well, and something different. Like there maybe has been something like this before, but like, they just two of them touch and they become the bigger thing.
Yeah, I think the key thing that this did that I haven't really seen before, like, because there's always the matching and things get bigger, or like you're trying to make matches, but it's the physics aspect of this one really changes things quite a bit. Like it makes a certain level of chaos to it that other puzzle games tend not to have.
It is absolutely less precise. You're like, that's not where I fucking wanted that to go. God damn it!
Pretty much
an orange between my pears. Ugh.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to do that, but I have not done it yet because I just downloaded it tonight.
Then there was Pepper Grinder, which shout out to Devolver publishing that, and you picked that one up as well. You said you played a demo of this. Was it during Next Fest they had a demo?
No. It was the demo is on the Switch right now after this direct.
Okay.
So I picked up on the Switch and I played it for probably half an hour. It's got, you're kind of using your drill to swim through land, basically. And I was curious because looking at it, it looked like it felt really fluid. And it took me a little bit of time to kind of get into the vibe of it. But once I did, it felt pretty good. There's still a bit of a learning curve in terms of like hitting your boost as you're going through to like leap to the next piece of land. And then I was getting to a spot where you leap through a swinging gate that opens up a different part of the level that you're trying to swim to the next land, open up a new gate to jump through the next, and you're solving the puzzle of which gates to open up to get to the next area. I've never played a game like this in terms of this mechanic, and it works probably like 90%. And if I played more, I think I would really get into it. It feels there are some narrow passageways to get through, and it never feels like it's too. The turning is almost just right. I feel like it could be a little better, but for the most part, it's really it controls really well for what I thought could be not that.
Yeah.
So I was very excited. After I played it, I was like, I definitely need to pick this up for Fantasy Critic. I tried to play the games if I could before I picked it up. So, for example, I did play a game later in the list and decided not to pick it up. But this one I thought, I think this is going to be, it kind of hits the right, like, game critics who love pixelated games, love these indie games, love a new mechanic that does something like new and does it well. It kind of hits everything in the middle of that Venn diagram, and the art is good. I did not play with the sound up, so I have no idea if the sound is good. But anyway, I enjoyed this quite a bit.
Right.
So I picked it up. I beat you by $1.
You did.
So we'll see if that works for me in my favor or not. Oh, and also there are like 5 coins hidden throughout. They're like in the Yoshi games where like the hidden flowers. Okay. It works just like that, where you can kind of straightforwardly go through the level, or you can kind of take on more challenge to try to find all the secrets, and it's really pretty nice. I walked away feeling like it was very satisfying, and that's what I was looking for, if it was that or not. So, yeah.
Very cool. I had heard this one. The next one had been rumored to be. It was going to be here. Which was Pocket Card Jockey. Right on. I've never seen these games. I know it's Game Freak.
You have never seen them? Interesting.
No, I never, like, I think tangentially I've known the name because I'm like, oh, I know this logo and stuff, but I guess I never had dug into what the games are.
I've heard people talk about these for years, and I've never played them. So,
but one dropped. I think it dropped.
Yeah,
the same day as the Switch. Yeah, it was just a shadow drop and is out. It's another one I can't really find much info of, like, people super like it, but I think so.
Go back 10 years. It's the same game. People have fucking loved this game for a decade. So, yay! I like when Game Freak puts out other games besides Pokemon.
Yes.
So, like this one and Tembo the Badass Elephant. That one was fucking great. Platformer. So.
Yeah. Oh, this was on Apple Arcade.
It was. Yeah, it had a year exclusivity that just ended. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it was on 3DS first.
Yeah. It looks so ridiculous, but yeah, I think
it does.
People were real excited for this one. So.
Mm-hmm. I think I should finally listen to them and play it.
Card game to race a horse. Sure. Why not? Of the other stuff, there was Snufkin? What was that one?
I don't remember seeing this one, but I'm reading the description. It's a story-rich musical adventure. Got kind of like a hand-drawn style. Top-down.
Oh, kind of yeah. Never mind. All right. Yeah. Yeah, just like a cute little indie game.
Yep. But it has music and melodies from the Icelandic post-rock band Sigur Rós.
Okay.
Let's ride some indie Icelandic music vibes into this game. Looks cool. I don't
know. Next was Zao.
Go ahead.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, honestly.
Yeah, it's Tales of Kenzera Zao.
Yeah.
I played the demo on this during Next Fest and really enjoyed it. It's a Metroidvania with like a god's element.
Right, you had mentioned this one. That's why it was familiar.
Yeah, I played the demo. I think I talked about it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's one that I've hovered back and forth about picking up on Fantasy Critic because it crawled. Remember, it crawled down to like 12 frames per second, and
sure.
I pre-ordered after I played the demo. I pre-ordered it because I liked it that much. But I'm wondering, outside of that, I played it was an hour demo. Outside of that, like, does it maintain? Because it started off strong. If the demo represents the opening area, the writing was good. The platforming was good. It felt honestly, a lot like Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, not as polished, but in that, Metroidvania, but like extra platforming areas that are optional that are testing your skills. So I don't know. Based on the demo alone, it feels good. It's a $15 game, I think. And there's a $10 discount to pick it up after the pre-order. I mean, so it comes out in April. So I'll report back then. But I enjoyed what I played of it. And I think the guy who did the voice of Assassin's Creed Origins character, who's Bayek.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Is voicing this character and perhaps even has a hand in running the studio in some way. So isn't EA original?
Yeah, that's right. That was cool. We got Demon Slayer Sweep the Board, which is Demon Slayer, if you don't know, is an anime.
I don't.
My son has watched a lot of it. He really likes it. I've watched like the first season. It's pretty silly, funny, kind of shonen anime. But I was like, what is this? It's Demon Slayer Mario Party.
It looks like Mario Party, yeah.
It is effective. It is. There's like...
Oh my god, it is. Okay.
It's just like roll around. There's mini games. And it's just silly. And I'll say Demon Slayer is like very serious and very silly. It is very, very typical anime in that way.
Interesting.
Yeah, okay. But if you want a Mario Party game, this is your new type of. This is another take on that formula, which you don't honestly see that often. Other companies try to do like, let's just do the Mario Party thing.
Dude, watching this and paying more attention, it is exactly Mario Party. Wow, interesting. Okay, all right.
Next was Kingdom Come Deliverance. I have no interest in this one, really. It's out on PC if I wanted to play it.
I own it. I bought it a while ago because I thought it'd be kind of my thing after Witcher, but I'd never, ever started it. So I don't know. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's not. I mean, people liked it, I guess, who played it. But yeah, it's coming to Switch now. I'm sure it's going to run like you'd expect it to.
Yeah.
Next one is one that I downloaded the demo for, Contra Operation Galuga. It is exactly what you think it is. It is a Contra game.
Contra. Yep. That's what it looked like.
It's not. Yep. It's not. But it played well. Thought the power-ups were cool. It was interesting. I don't think it's going to do well on Fantasy Critic, but it felt like a good one of these. And I never, I always think of Contra games as like C+, high 70s kind of thing, mid 70s. So I don't think it's going to be score-wise much more than that, but it's fun if you like Contra. Here you go.
Just more Contra. Then we got to Pentiment.
Yeah, baby. In a sizzle reel, god damn it.
Yeah, I thought it was going to shadow drop today, honestly. Or did it that day?
Well, it's out. It came out on the 22nd.
The 22nd. Yeah. So it was the next day. It wasn't a shadow. It wasn't
exactly.
I really thought Pentiment was going to shadow drop during the direct. But no, they waited one extra day. But Pentiment is on Switch now. Which seems like a great place for it.
It does, man. And it's a physical edition put out by Limited Run Games.
Yeah.
Which, couple that with the stories about Xbox kind of winding or shrinking its physical games area or publisher, whatever. It's like, oh, are you just going to outsource stuff to Limited Run Games? Because that sucks. I pre-ordered this game that's out now digitally, and I won't get the physical edition. It says it won't ship till August.
Yeah, no, that's just how Limited Run does. They are not. Yeah. You do not get stuff from them if you want it. It's not. You're not getting a physical release to replace you playing the game on launch. It's you want a physical release as more of a collector's item, which is fine. But just know that going in on Limited Run
and
stuff.
For this one specifically, it's fine because I have it on Xbox and I just picked it up on Steam for Steam Deck, so I actually don't care. I want a physical copy of this game.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because I remember very clearly putting it on my top 5 of the year for 2022.
Yeah,
because I will finish it and love it because I just loved it so much, and I got distracted. With Elden Ring.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then talking about digital things, we get the rare software drop for Switch Online and expansion pack. Rare has done tons of games. I'll be honest.
They've had so many games, and it's funny that they had mentioned with that information about Sea of Thieves coming to PlayStation. That was the first time they'd ever worked on a PlayStation game.
Yeah.
In their 40-year history. I'm always excited to see Snake, Rattle, and Roll come back.
Yep.
I fucking love that game, and I think it's like a mediocre game, but I think most people feel like it's a mediocre game, but that's fine. It's just like my favorite one of those. So I will play this game again.
I mean, I'll honestly say none of the games on here I'm like, oh, those are amazing games.
Mm-hmm.
They're good games. I probably raged more than I can remember at RC Pro-Am. God damn.
Really?
I had that on the NES. I had no clue it was rare for the longest time.
I didn't know either.
But
it's like a Rock and Roll Racing being Rockstar, I think.
And then
Blizzard?
I remember
Blizzard. Maybe Blizzard actually, not Rockstar. Yeah.
Yeah, Blizzard. And I got decently into Killer Instinct when it originally came out.
Hell yeah. I played a lot of that game.
And then, I didn't even realize they did Blast Core. I didn't have an N64, but I remember renting an N64 and playing Blast Core.
You never had a 64?
No. I didn't have this 64. Other people had 64s.
Yeah, I feel like we all
PlayStation.
Did. Yeah.
What was the breakdown here originally? There was eventually some overlap. Our friend Jacob had the N64 that I knew of, and that's where I'd mostly play it. You had a 64 or your cousin did.
Technically, my cousin did, but yeah, I played
and you'd see it there. Travis had the Saturn.
64. He had a 64 and a PlayStation, if I remember correctly. No,
eventually he got a PlayStation, but he also had a Saturn for a while. I thought he had a Sega system.
Saturn? Huh,
maybe he didn't. I couldn't remember. Maybe it was someone else.
When we played Mario Kart and Smash Brothers at his house senior year, was that my N64? My cousin?
No, I think he got it. I think he got
Travis's?
an N64.
Yeah.
Eventually, and he had a PS1. I just had a PS1.
Mm-hmm.
I never did the 64 thing. I had a PlayStation. I never looked back. I was like, no, the PS1 has the game. Truly has the games I actually want to play. So
yeah.
I owned Final Fantasy VII for like 3 months before I actually owned a PlayStation.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
I bought the game, and then I continued my job working and saved up the money to buy the PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember picking up the game and being like, yep, I can stare at it, or I could go rent a PlayStation and play it. But yeah, that was the weird thing there. Never a 64 for me. I rented one a couple times and played it, but for the most part, the 64 didn't have games that I really like. I want to play these myself.
Yeah.
And you and other friends had 64s when we were going to play like
multiplayer
party games. Multiplayer party stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It was, Mario Party, Smash, Mario Kart, and GoldenEye. Those are the 4 that I remember. We played all the time.
Yep.
Good times.
That was good times.
I love those weekends, man.
It was like every weekend.
It was
for a good chunk of our junior and senior years.
Yeah, man. I love that.
Like, whose house are we going to be at and playing until we fall asleep on the floor around the system?
My enduring memories of that time is Travis getting so fucking angry at Mario Kart, he would just throw his controller down and go into his room.
Yes. Or Smash. Smash as well.
Oh, okay. I just remember Mario Kart specifically.
Yeah, it was like the super games that get like really competitive in your life.
That one just stood out to me because I was like, this game is fucking luck, man. It's just these fucking items.
Pure luck.
Oh my god. Although Mario Party was the same way. Like you just get fucked in the last round.
Oh, and you get those blisters on your palms.
Oh my god, on your palm? Hell yeah, man. Good times.
So yeah, that was the rare stuff, and then they ended with Endless Ocean Luminous. Which Endless Ocean was on the Wii?
The Wii, yeah, 2 games on the Wii.
I have never played them.
Nope, me neither. I thought this was such a strange, like, one more thing, but apparently the people who loved Endless Ocean are, like, crying because they never thought they'd get another game, and they're just like, this is amazing. I was like, okay, well, hope it is. Just seems chill.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Just a chill exploration game in the ocean. I don't think there's a lot of, like tension to the game at all. I think that's not the point. It's really just explore, enjoy the ocean.
So I think my daughter would like it. She was asking me today for a game where you could just go adventuring.
This would be it. I mean, this is for the people that want to play Subnautica, but Subnautica is just a little too intense of a game.
Yeah. It seems procedurally generated though, because it says it changes every time you dive or whatever. So
that's interesting. That's cool.
Yeah. Then you can play 20-player online or something like that.
That
10-player
is crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, there's like underwater shipwrecks, underwater like buildings.
Your role as a scuba diver tasked with encountering and documenting marine life. That's your job. That's all you're doing in this game is just explore and see things.
It's like Pokemon Snap, but real world. You know?
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
And that's this year. That's May. Yeah.
Yep. The Nintendo Switch is going to have some software as it finishes its life cycle.
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh, that's cool. This is nothing. And this is all partner direct. This is no Nintendo stuff. But I guess Endless Ocean was odd because I thought that was a Nintendo property.
It is a Nintendo property.
Okay, so partner direct. Is someone else making it, or?
Yeah, it doesn't say. I can't see that. on if. Yeah. I'm sure it's some other team making it, but yeah, it's Nintendo property and Nintendo published. So I think they're bending the rules on that partner direct thing right there.
Exactly. They're like, you know what? We make our own rules because it's our own fucking direct.
Yes. Overall, it was fine. There's some neat stuff in it. Nothing I was like, oh, this is the most amazing thing ever. But
everything was like okay to good.
Yep, that's basically where it's at. It's like updates on some things that we've already known about. But it was a lot of it was a fair amount of content and a fair amount of games coming throughout the year. So I think it's just like a nice little appetizer to what the main course is going to be in like a month or two. When I assume Nintendo has to like, okay, here's our back half of the year for like big releases. I mean, there's a Pokemon Direct coming in a week.
Tuesday.
This week? Yeah,
this week. Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah, this week, and they're probably announcing some things there. I know there's crazy rumors. I never can trust Pokemon Direct rumors because everyone's rumors over. It's everything and it's nothing at the same time. Like, we'll see what they do, but I feel like this is going to be the time when they set up, like, for Pokemon at least, what's coming in the fall. And what to expect, and that's huge for Nintendo. So we will see. The other thing that was huge, this got announced, and then 12 hours later?
16 hours later.
Tweeted something like, hey, join us tomorrow morning for the premiere of the Shadow of the Erdtree trailer. And yeah, so we got the trailer.
And them at 7 a.m.
Yep, we got the trailer. It's going to be more Elden Ring.
Looks like
that's what I love. I was like, more Elden Ring. I'm like, I was wondering how they would show more to this game. I'm like, they're just showing more bosses, more weapons, new areas, and it's like the game was already huge, so you're just showing more. And
yeah, as I was watching, I kept thinking, there's so much in the game that I didn't actually see yet that
you're like, any of this could actually just be in the game.
Exactly, I would have no idea.
But yeah, I actually think in some ways it's great that it's dated for like June 21st. I think it's a little later than people were expecting from. They were actually expecting it this month. There's a lot of rumors, but I'm like, the size and scale of Elden Ring to begin with, I wouldn't be surprised if this just taking them longer to make.
Right.
And it's exciting. It's coming out, and I will never touch it. I will watch people play it, but I'm...
Oh, you don't mind watching the streams?
Yeah, I can watch it. I need to not obsess over it. I need to be able to turn it off. Like, that was the part that was getting to me with this game. And like, I beat it twice, did 2 runs.
Right.
And I was working on a third, and like, but it was like, I couldn't stop thinking about the game. I was always thinking about it, and I was dreaming about it.
Oh God, yeah, that's
it rough. It was affecting me pretty deeply. Like, because it's really good. Something about the game really got insidious into my subconscious, and
you overdosed on Elden Ring.
Yeah, kind of. That's what it felt like, and I'm sure there are people that can handle it just fine all the time, and I can handle most games, and I don't. The thing is with this is just like I said, it was kind of insidious how I was thinking about and got in there. So yeah, and it really, really was affecting my mood pretty deeply. Love the game though, but I'll watch people play it now because I'm like, I don't know if I want to. I don't know how I would approach the expansion now. Would you start a new game and just make a new run and go? Would I load up an old character and go into stuff?
Like, which one do you have to do, or which one would you want to do?
Want to do. And there's a part of me that I'm like, well, if I did this, I'd want to start a new character. And I kind of don't want to do that again. It scares me to start a new character.
That's a lot to go through again.
It is a lot to go through. It's great content. It's a ton of fun to go through. And that's the thing with my first playthrough. I didn't get all the different story endings because I didn't do the cloud save trick to get the story endings easily. So I've done 2 of the story endings. But my first playthrough, I did everything. Well, I killed every boss.
Wow.
Every single one.
Jesus, dude.
All optional ones. I've unlocked every optional zone.
Wow.
I explored.
Did you? You went to the Halleck tree and beat?
Oh yeah, Millennia. Yeah.
Millennia. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I beat her.
Damn, that's like a notch in the belt.
Yeah, I did the things in this game. I did the stuff to do the. What ending? The ending I got was the. Oh, what's the character that has the big brimmed hat? Mage, Rena.
Oh, Renala? No, Renala?
Yeah.
No.
Rena.
No, Renala's the one where you go to get the larval tier or use the larval tier.
Yeah.
Ronnie?
Ronnie.
Yeah.
I did Ronnie's ending, and that was such an epic. You had to do so many of these side areas to do her ending. There was so much I had to do on that quest. That was so long.
Mm-hmm.
And I did most. I remember tons of the quests. The ones that I could. I was locked out of some because of choices I made. But
yeah, that's
the thing with it. I'm like, I got a lot out of this game. More than I had ever gotten out of a FromSoft game before and since. And I'm like, you're just gonna add more to it? I'm scared.
Well, and apparently I think I read in an interview, I may be making this up, that the difficulty is going to be like Halleck tree level, and I was like,
oh no,
I don't want that. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I.
I mean, the people who knows what the difficulty is going to be? I mean, I assume these areas are later in the game that they're adding, so you're not going to get them. You're not just going to like start a new game and like fall into the expansion.
No, you're supposed to like warp from wherever the. Oh fuck! There's a thing in the game that is a warp, and I can't remember where it is, but it's something that you don't interact with, but it's in the world. And they're going to make that the place where you like touch it and warp into like Michaela's dreams or whatever. Yeah. So
it's really cool. I'm sure it's going to have a bunch of cool content. I will watch people play it.
I think that might be what I do as well.
But I am not opening the lid on this game again for myself.
I think that's a good idea. I'm so excited that I beat it this year. I'm proud that I did. I'm happy that I did. I don't feel an urge to go back and do more. So even though I loved it, I think it's an amazing game. So
yeah. So that was really all the news of the week, I think.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So we made it. We did it.
We did. That was a lot of news.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then this week I've been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is I'm just getting deeper into that game. I am in chapter. I fell from the sky into fucking Eris Church.
Oh, nice. Yep.
And fought Reno and went to her town and fought Rude.
Oh, okay. Wow, you're making good progress. Holy crap.
Yeah, man, I'm tearing through this game. And I went back to Aerith's house, and she's like, "Are you sure you want to come back to my house right now?" I was like, "Oh, fuck, I got side quests to do then." So then I looked up online, like, what is there stuff to do in this town? I was like, oh, yeah, there's a bunch of shit to do, apparently, that I just didn't pay attention to. So I need to go back and do some side quests there. And I have a question for you. Because apparently there's a side quest where you get, like, a nail bat for Cloud, which is a good critical hit weapon. But I feel like I'm supposed to be using the Buster Sword the entire game.
No, you don't have to.
Is that not true?
That's not true. Buster Sword's good. Like, there's an interesting... They did an interesting thing in Remake where all the swords are viable. Like, they're not the gear in that way, your weapon is not a fundamental upgrade. It's side grades and kind of creates a build that you want. Like, you want to do a critical build. Do you want to do, like, the Buster Sword is just an all-arounder. Pretty good sword. So... if I remember right, there's a pretty good balance there of like you can use whatever weapon you want to use and build it out.
Doesn't it look? I feel like for 30 years or whatever, I've seen Cloud with a Buster Sword, and that is it.
I mean, that's the standard thing, but I mean, in the game, in original 7, you upgraded that sword to not be the Buster Sword pretty quickly. You replaced it. Yes.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask. That's what I was wondering. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you would get all the typical Final Fantasy swords. You got a mithril saber. I want to say there's a Excalibur in there somewhere. Looking. No, there's the ultimate weapon, Ragnarok, Heaven's Cloud, Apocalypse. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of, and they all had unique models. So as you equipped them, like your sword changed. Like
okay.
The nail bat was one that you could get in original 7 as well.
Okay. Because I was like, this is sacrilege. It's like,
I mean, it can be if you're like, man, I like how that looks.
I do, but I love the game. I was like, Tifa's my girl, and I'm like, you know what, Barrett's pretty cool too. Like, I feel like his personality is like way stronger or better or whatever than original 7 part that I played. But then I got dropped out of the sky, and I'm like with Aerith, and I remember that in 7, landing in her church and doing that. And I was like, okay, I'm with Aerith now. I want to be a Tifa. And I was like, oh shit, Aerith is actually pretty fucking cool. The writing in this game is just so good.
Yes, and I think when I've talked about it in the past weeks, the characterizations are really good and how they've updated them. And I think Aerith's characterization is incredible in Remake. Yeah. They add so much more layers to her character of being like, in original 7, she just kind of comes off as like incredibly like naive girl kind of thing. In this, yeah, she's naive, but she's also like, there's a depth to her here of her character that's great. Like, a huge empathy, but she's also kind of a klutz. And also very like, I guess the free-spirited nature of her comes out way more in Remake than ever did in the original 7, just because they'd have much more time to build out that character and give her dialogue that makes it be like, oh, okay, you're just not naive girl. You are this weird kind of eccentric. She's pretty eccentric.
She comes across as eccentric, and talking with Cloud in the last, the hour that I've been spending with her, she seems really insightful to know that Cloud's lying about something or whatever else. I was like, oh wow, this is really cool writing. It just cuts to the quick.
You just got to keep going with this because you're gonna get to the best parts where Aerith and Tifa meet, and you're like, oh, are they gonna play this in like a love triangle sort of way or anything like that? Not at all.
Thank God.
And it's great. And they never did that in the original 7 either. But in this one, they just are like, you're like, oh, you could have done this so poorly and you didn't. You saw the pit you could dive into and you have completely avoided it and went so much better the other way. And I love it.
I was worried about that a little bit, but Cloud is just so like, it's not flat, but almost that I was like, is there anything here between these characters? So
yeah, you build that. Honestly, you're going to learn a lot more about Cloud and Rebirth. But honestly, I think a lot of the Cloud stuff will come out in the 3rd game, just timing wise and how they're doing the story. Unless they're going to pull stuff forward in the story to give better insight into Cloud and who he is and why he is like he is. Because there's a reason people do like Cloud. Like, he comes off as pretty silent, muted protagonist, but
that's what he feels like exactly.
But there's a lot more like there is a character arc to him. There's a big character arc to him.
Okay, that's cool. Because right now
it just takes a while to get to it, and I just don't think you won't get to it completely. You start seeing pieces of it in Remake, just how they're splitting the story up. You'll see more of it in Rebirth. Like I said, if they pull stuff forward, from the original story of 7, you might see even more of it in Rebirth. But he goes through a character arc. All these characters go through some pretty big character arcs, which is why they've probably resonated for people so long. Like, people naturally gravitate to characters that go through arcs.
Yes, absolutely. You want to see progress and travel in the character. I don't know why I'm stunned. I just have such vivid memories of sitting with Travis and him playing Final Fantasy VII and me being bored out of my fucking
because you could do a lot of boring crap in that game.
Oh my God.
It's not just story, like you're grinding huge amounts. Like, I know that he and others that I know, that have been playing it, I probably did it too, like did huge amounts of grinding to get different summons.
Yeah, exactly.
Like optional stuff, pure optional, crazy stuff. But you have to like put in dozens of hours of grinding to do it. It's not really that interesting. But they kind of remove a lot of that from Remake. It's just like, no. We're just pushing you forward in the story. We're going to expand the story aspect of this thing deeply and not give a lot of that deeper side stuff.
Well, so because that, stuff. Yeah, but it's always been kind of like boring in my head. And then I played probably 2020. I played the remaster.
Yeah.
On PS5 through to the open grasslands area, and I thought it was better than I remembered, but still not like something that was like fantastic in my head. But this is like game changing to me, where I want to, when I'm done with this, I'm going to play Intergrade. When I'm done with that, I'm going to play Crisis Core. Then I want to watch somehow, if I can, fucking Advent Children.
You could just watch, like, that's easy to watch.
Is it available?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I want to watch.
I don't even know. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere, but if you want to, I have a DVD of it.
Oh, okay, cool.
But I'm pretty sure you can just. I'm almost certain it's streamable.
I'm getting into this like I get into, like Fire Emblem or Zelda. Like I'm feeling like this is like I should have played this a long time ago and got into the story a long time ago, because the story is so good. It's crazy. So I'm way in. So late to the party, but I'm happy that I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm like 11 or 12 hours into the game now.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty good.
It's good for me, man. It's really good for me. Because considering I also put in 8 hours of Yakuza at the same time.
Yeah, that's true. That is really good for you. You're farther than I thought. Like, because the other game that you've been playing, I played a little bit of it with you, and I'm like, I guess you're not playing Remake because you're playing Helldivers all the time.
Dude, yeah. I mean, whenever Travis wants to play, I'm there to play. Just because it's fun, and B, because I want to be there. But fuck, man, we are having so much fun with that game. We dropped into a place where we were supposed to defeat the Hulk tournament, I guess. And we rounded the corner, and just saw the Hulk briefly, and I fucking panicked, and I just blew Travis away. So I throw a stratagem, and I toss it. I want to get him close to the boss, so I throw it in that direction, and it comes in, he lands right on the Hulk, kills it instantly. He pops the trophy for killing it in that way, and I pop one for just killing the Hulk in general. And it was just the funniest shit. And then the next one we did was we played a automaton one, and by the time we got to the end of this, we did a bunch of different stuff in that planet or whatever. And when we were trying to call in the escape pod or escape ship, all of a sudden it's just crawling with automatons that are nonstop. It's just wave after wave after wave. It never ever stops. And we have used all of our reinforcements.
Yeah.
So it's on a 2-minute timer when you've gone through your 10 or 15. So we get basically one of us dies, the other person stays alive for 2 minutes to then throw it. And then the other person dies, and you have to do it again. So I die, and he just pushes towards the helicopter. And right as he's about to get in the helicopter, he throws a reinforcement beacon, and I drop down. And I drop down on like 5 huge fucking automatons right there at the Pelican to get into the Pelican or whatever. And he's just screaming at me, and I just dive, try to get to the door. I'm just getting scraped and smacked, and I'm almost dead, and I just barely dive in the door, and we pull away, and it just felt like a fucking movie. It just, these stories of like, I think we were talking in the Discord where Travis posted like, here's, things are doing wrong, and it's like, I don't know if I want to get good at this game, because the stories that I'm enjoying are me being just competent enough to get through, but being really stupid about how to play this game. And it's just made so many great stories.
It's all pretty, I would say,
I watched it too.
Standard stuff of being like, you unlock different types of weapons. Different type of weapons are useful for different types of enemies. check.
Exactly.
And it's a lot of the stuff is the loadout game of being like, okay, what am I going in with? What am I taking? What am I up against? And yeah, like you, I was once that I'm like, oh, this is not a game I'm playing to get good at and be optimal at all. Like, I want to be competent at the game, roughly, but there's too much chaos to be like. Exactly. I'm like, I'm not going crazy here. That just generates stories. It's insane that way. I mean, this is Arrowhead at their best, just making their games the right level of chaos to not feel like, oh, this is fall on the side of being like, I can't control anything, I can't do anything, but also not being like, oh, there's not enough chaos where it's like, nope, everything is very rote. I know exactly what I have to do every time. I think this game would get pretty boring if that was the case. You do a few missions and be like, okay, yep, I know exactly what to do. Nothing's gonna change. Just do it. They've been real smart on how they've tuned the missions and the way that their AI system and like director level works to make just really fun situations. Yeah, playing it with you guys, I was having a blast. Oh my god, chance to play other nights. I think you played on one night. I saw it real late. I was like, no. Yeah. I think that was the day I actually went into the office. I got home and I was like, I saw it late. And I was like, no, I'm going to bed. I'm so tired.
Well, it was funny because that was the night where Travis said, yeah, if we can, let's play tonight. So he wasn't on, so I played Remake. And then I went to brush my teeth, left my thing on, and came back, and I had missed a Discord from him. He was like, oh, yeah, I'm ready to play a few hours, like at 10:40, and I was like just ready to go to bed. I was so tired. And he had said that he had fallen asleep on the couch. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I'll play with you. So we played 2 rounds, and I went to bed. Maybe 3 rounds. I went to bed at midnight.
That's late for you.
It was very late. Yeah, I was tired, but man.
No wonder you were killing him. You're just the end of your mental capacity for the day.
Exactly. I was short-circuiting, to be honest. But it's fantastic. And I think now that the servers are stabilized, the CEO said, we're looking forward to letting you know what's coming next. Yeah. What we're working on. Like, this thing has fucking legs, and I'm so here for it. It's great. Yeah, it's one of those things that I can just pop into. I don't need to like do anything. I can pop in when my friends want to play, and otherwise, maybe I'll play one round every once in a while. But otherwise, I'm only playing this with friends. So
yeah, no, that makes sense. That's the only way I'd ever play it.
Yep.
Because I just want those stories more than anything. But yeah, that was really cool. The only other thing, I mentioned that did I mention I beat Persona 3 last week? Had I beat it? I don't think I was going to. I don't know if I beat it last. I think I beat it Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, you sent me a thing on the PlayStation, but I don't think we talked about it here.
Yeah, because I think it was after we recorded last week. I'm almost certain it was like Monday night. I beat it this week. So I beat Persona 3 Reload. It is an incredible game. God, it's that back half. It is.
Yeah, I've heard that the back half is good. Yeah.
The first half is fine. The only reason the back half is so good is because they've done all the work in the front half to make you care. And yeah, you get the back half. It deals a lot with the same themes, weirdly, that Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker dealt with. A lot of themes of nihilism, what it means to live, the nihilistic thoughts of like, well, if you're all living equals eventual pain, so why live in the first place, kind of stuff. What's the point? It deals with that kind of stuff, and of course, like Final Fantasy and other things, it's still a story in the end about hope, overcoming that, and being like, yeah, things are rough, things can be tough, life does have painful moments in it, but it's still life and worth living. But it deals with really heavy issues like that. But it was real good. I was in tears a couple times through that whole ending. I'm very happy to have played that game. Is it better? Do I like it more than Persona 5 Royal? I don't know.
Oh wow, you don't know that's more than I thought.
It's close. I don't know. They deal with different themes. But I think Reload is a fantastic way to see Persona 3. And I'm glad there's kind of a definitive edition, because I hadn't really looked at the difference between Persona 3, Persona 3 FES, and Persona 3 Portable.
Mm-hmm.
They are drastically different from one another.
Yeah, they are.
That's right. Shockingly, like Persona 3 Portable, which is like cool, you can control your characters, and it actually has like a second route where you're playing as a female main character. But you don't actually explore the world in 3D space. It's like a visual novel. You like move it around on like fixed top-down areas and select characters to talk to.
Yeah, that's what I heard about it.
It's so weird. I had no clue it was like that. I thought it was just like Persona 3 or FES, where you are running around a 3D world. But if you wanted that, you needed Portable to play, and the key part was that you could control your party members in battle. Because of FES and original Persona 3, you can't control your party members. But if you want the 3D characters that you can interact with and talk to and have that kind of story, you have to play FES. So Reload really is the most definitive version of this game. Like it has the things. Yeah. It doesn't have the what people call FMC, but I'm not actually sure. Like talking to the director, that seems like it was an odd thing that got added in, honestly. For Portable.
Don't you think that they're going to be doing like the Persona 5 Royal treatment?
They've said they're doing
Reload?
DLC this time. It's not going to be a separate game.
Okay.
Because they, someone at Atlas, they did an interview before this came out, was like, because people asked like, hey, is there going to be another version like a Royal? And he's like, no. There will be a DLC for the whatever FES added. The Answer, I think, is the name of the segment. The
Answer, yeah, exactly.
Will be a DLC.
Okay.
So you don't have to buy the game again.
Okay.
It's just, I mean, I bet they'll put out a definitive edition that has it included, but
yeah.
They're moving away, it seems, from with this one at least. Vengeance, they're not with SMT, right. But maybe it's just mixed. They can make a decision on how they're going to do it in the future. But it was cool to beat that, and then I kind of just floated, did a little Helldivers, and then did Last Epoch, which is an action RPG that hit 1.0. And if you thought Helldivers had server issues, oh boy.
Oh no.
And they're one of the main people at their company bragged like, our servers will be fine.
Whoops.
And the thing is, their servers were fine for capacity, like no issues like with the amount of people that could be in and like exist on the servers. Their actual failure points were logins and matchmaking.
Oh, so it wasn't even okay.
So and the login, and really the logins were kind of annoying, but those were pretty quick. You could just keep retrying and get in finally. But the matchmaking is like whenever that was matching you into town or changing maps, that was like server changeovers, and it wasn't the servers having problems, but it was like whatever service they used to move you between maps failed horrifically. So it's generally fixed now, but for the weekend. But it was a rough time. They have an offline mode though, and they said if you just want to play the game, just play it offline. Go right ahead.
But you can't bring the character to the online.
No, it's a lot like Diablo 2 back in the day, where you could have your open BattleNet characters that you could play offline or play multiplayer. But then you had, what was it, Realm characters,
right?
That you have to play them connected online. Similar situation. That's why I'm like, I don't want to play an offline character. I want to play the character I can play online. and even have the option to, if I want to like do auction house or trading and things like that later in the game. But overall, I've generally been enjoying it. At the beginning, we talked about games with identity. I don't think Last Epoch has the strongest identity overall. I think Path of Exile and Diablo still just have stronger identities. The thing Last Epoch has is mechanically it has some very good ideas and is a very nice mechanical action RPG. But I play it and I'm like, I'm not attached to anything in this game at all. Feels good to play. I like the class, but story-wise, world-wise, I'm like, all feels very generic, unfortunately. But it was a studio formed out of people that just wanted to, I think they met on Reddit and they just wanted to make an action RPG.
Really? They met on Reddit? Interesting.
Yep. And they just decided to make an action RPG. They really were just tired of I want to say this was after like Diablo 3 had come out. And they were just like, man, Path of Exile isn't exactly what we want. Let's just make our own. And they have, and it released, and it's generally doing very well sales-wise. It's just having some growing pains. I think they've had way more people than they were anticipating.
Seems like the story of the early 2024.
Yeah.
Which is probably a good problem to have and a bad problem to have at the same time.
Yeah, but, they peaked at 264,000.
Oh, okay.
In the past 24 hours. So that's probably about 20 times more than they've ever had for the game.
So do we have a thing where more people are playing video games than ever before, so these numbers are like the new normal, or we just have like several games in a row that just happen to hit it?
I think it's the games in a row that have hit it, but I do think there is a lot of data showing that game playing peaked its highest points during the pandemic, especially like 2021 was huge. And things have come down since 2021, but they're still higher than pre-pandemic. So yeah, I think there's just in general like pandemic shifted people's perceptions on video games to a point. More people are playing now than ever.
Yeah.
So, continuously. I memean, you also see that with things like the number of people that have bought Animal Crossing at this point.
It's just behind Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
It's crazy. It's just, it doesn't matter. Like, there's definitely more people playing games generationally. Like our generation and younger are much cooler of playing video games overall as just an activity that you do. Even if it's in like a more, I don't play that much, but I'll pick up and play. Like most people I know of our age will be completely okay just picking up a video game and playing a video game here and there. So,
yeah, I kind of think about it in terms of when I talk to my former co-president and other colleagues just openly like, yeah, this is a hobby that I have. More people do that, not always, but I think about it in terms of like people just sit and watch TV for 4 hours a night. It's like that's accepted. Video games are much more active in my view, more interactive too. So
yeah,
but yeah, I'm just stunned by the numbers. Pal World, obviously, how much it sold. It's just we're doom and gloom, and people losing their jobs, and there's no growth. But man, there's games that are hitting.
There's no growth in AAA. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's
AAA.
What it feels like.
AAA is real rough right now.
Yep. It feels like it's in the indie space.
It is, and that's kind of how the cycle works overall.
Okay.
AAA cements and kind of gets like caught up in like, oh, this is what has historically worked and isn't willing to take risks, and it's the indies and even the bigger indies that kind of push the boundaries, and you'll see a lot of this stuff probably starts coming back around into AAA at some point here in like 5 or 6 years.
Right.
You'll be like, the official Pokemon open world game will come out with some crafting elements, and you'll be like, oh, that's where it started back in Pal World.
I played that for about 45 minutes today while my daughter was playing Mario Tennis. And I finally kind of focused on, I'm supposed to be doing things. And I started doing things to upgrade my base. And I was like, okay, this is starting to make sense.
Yep.
It feels pretty frictionless and pretty good so far, except for I don't know how to assign jobs to my little pals. But I'll figure that out.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think you assign jobs to them specifically.
They just do them.
Yeah, they have skills that they can do, and then there's like you just assign them to like, hey, be in my base, and then they will do things that they have skills for.
Oh, okay, perfect. Because that's what's been happening. They're like started building or helping build stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need you to like gather resources to make me Pokeballs.
Yeah. Then you would need whatever,
a specific Pokemon or
Pokemon that had a skill that did pal that yes. Pokemon pal that would do that.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Because it felt like it was happening, and then it wasn't. So
yeah. Well, cool.
Awesome.
Now this has been a long one, but a good one.
Yeah, we've been having some long ones lately. This was episode 421 of Prof and Dev Play Games. If you like us, please rate us on your podcast service of choice. We will be back next week to recap the Pokemon Direct. Hopefully there'll be some good news, but we'll see. And until then, we'll see you next week.
All right. Later, everyone.